What's going on, everyone? My name is Metahuman Dave, and I am on TRT. Cue the sad music here. No. TRT is not a bad thing. It's actually one of the best decisions I ever made in my entire life. For those who don't know, TRT stands for Testosterone Replacement Therapy. And I'm assuming a lot of the people watching this video have not been following me for a while, so they don't know my background. But I've always been into health and fitness. Once in a while fall off the wagon here or there, but for the most part, health and fitness have always been a big part of my life. And once I got into my late 30s, I noticed that I wasn't getting the results that I should be getting. At one point, I even had my own gym that I owned with my wife. We had a personal training studio and had a strong focus on my strongman training at that time. And I just wasn't getting the results that I should be getting for someone who practically lived in a gym. And I would get my testosterone levels checked, and they were extremely low for someone of my age, my activity levels, my eating habits. But due to the medical standards that we have nowadays, they were considering it still in the normal range, which that's a whole different topic as to why testosterone levels are getting lower and lower and lower each and every decade. And instead of fixing the problems, we're just changing the goalposts smaller and smaller and saying, that's the new normal. But I think it has a lot to do with also what medical company you're with, what insurance company you have, and things like that. I was on an HMO plan in California. They don't really like to have us be healthy. I'll just say it like that. But I will say, even though I noticed my levels were low and I got tested 2 separate times, a couple years apart, and they were both pretty consistent, depression was starting to sink in. Ultimately, when we had to close our gym down, that was like the real start of when the dark depression really hit. And when I say dark depression, I mean I did not care about my life. I know there's certain words we can't use on YouTube without getting censored or banned, so let's just say I had thoughts of no longer being in this world. And for someone like myself who's normally a people pleaser, it might come as a shock to some people, but I was in a really dark place. Fast forward to moving to Arkansas and finding a new doctor and getting tested here. I was put on TRT. And at first I was doing the standard protocol that the doctor gave me, which was 1 shot a week. I noticed immediately that I did not like that type of protocol, because by the time it was due for the next shot, I was starting to feel crappy again. A lot of the inflammation would come back, stiffness and things like that. I just wasn't feeling motivated by the end of the week. So I started to split my dosage up into 2 times a week. Let me rewind a little bit. Most doctors prescribe the same way. They always go straight to 200 milligrams, and sadly enough, a lot of them automatically give people an anti-estrogen pill. I am in the worldview of lowest effective dose is what we should always be striving for in anything that we do. There's no reason to take 1,000 milligrams of something if 100 milligrams is all you need to get your results, is how I look at things. And taking the least amount of medications possible, because that is ultimately what I try to strive to do with my clients, is to help them get healthy enough that they don't require their medications anymore. Obviously, It's up to their doctor's discretion to let them know whether they can get off their medications, but I just try to help them do that. Now, when it comes to my testosterone, I immediately told the doctor I do not want to take 200 milligrams right off the bat. I wanted to start low and slow and work my way up to find the dose that works for me. So personally, I started at 100 milligrams a week. Like I said, I ended up splitting it into 2 different doses, and that felt way better when I was splitting it that way. I wasn't getting the big dips and troughs, but I ultimately found myself creeping up to find a little better dosage for me, slowly working my way up to 125, and in the end 150 milligrams at the max. So somewhere in that ballpark, 125 to 150 a week is what I found was the most effective dose for me, where I was able to, my brain, oh my goodness, the cognitive function just went through the roof once I found my correct dose. I didn't have so much brain fog. I had a lot more motivation again. I started to feel a lot younger again. Now, again, not taking high dosages. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder or anything like that. I'm not taking steroid level testosterone. But fast forward, I found out that doing my shots every other day was a lot better for me. It just made everything a lot more stable, and I didn't have peaks and troughs anymore. It just worked much better for me. Now, I've been on TRT for about almost 3 years now. Not quite 3, but maybe 2. I mean, I haven't really paid attention to when I started. I just know it's been a few years. And although I feel better than ever, what happened is I started a new diet plan. And now I wish I knew about this diet style before I went on TRT, because there is a very good chance that I might have been able to hold off on needing to get on TRT. Because ultimately, when you get on TRT, you should be doing it with the idea that this is for life. It's not a short-term thing. Once you start, you're going to want to continue it for life, so that you don't go back to the way you were feeling. Because if you're not producing enough testosterone now, you're not all of a sudden going to be producing a lot more after TRT. So it is something you should go into thinking about for life. I don't believe in using an anti-estrogen unless you have a problem. You should not just go right to it. You know, we as men still have estrogen in our body, and it's there for a reason. We should not be completely blocking our hormones. That's where a lot of people end up finding that they have a lot of joint pain and things like that when they start blocking things that they don't need to. Yeah, either way, let's just move forward. The new diet that I'm on, a lot of people have been able to raise their testosterone just by eating this way. It gets their hormones back on track. It helps their thyroid. And so being on this now for 5 months, man, I feel better than I've ever felt. I actually feel like I turned the clock back 20 years. So being that I feel as good as I do, and knowing that I'm eating a proper human diet now, I'm going to take a new journey, and I'm going to take you guys along with me on this while I attempt to get myself off of TRT. Again, I am not opposed to TRT. I actually think that most men should really look into it. Seriously, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling low, you're feeling unmotivated, get your levels tested. It might save your life. For me, now that I'm doing my way of eating, which has nothing to do with this subject, so I'm in this topic today, so we're not going to get into it. I'm just going to see if this new way of eating will allow my testosterone levels to be high enough that I don't need to rely on TRT just yet. I know I'll have to go back on TRT at some point in my life, but I'm attempting to see if I can hold off from needing TRT right now. So I'm going to start documenting my progress of coming off of TRT. If that's something that interests you, something you've ever been curious about, then I ask you to just subscribe to the channel, put the little bell icon on, so that when I upload new vlogs, letting you guys know how I'm doing on the PCT part of this, post-psychotherapy, if you will. I'm expecting it to be difficult, as it should be, but the dietary plan that I've been doing, how great I've been feeling, I'm going in with the belief that food is my medicine, and at least for a few years I'll be able to stay off of TRT, because truth be told, I am absolutely tired of always having to pin myself. I've always been afraid of needles. Phone's shaking like crazy now, I apologize. I've always been afraid of needles, even the little insulin syringes that I use for my shots. The shots can be painful at times if you do it wrong. Sometimes the oil builds up and you're a little tender. Nothing astronomically bad, but I mean, if I can do this naturally for at least a few more years, why not? Let my body do what it's meant to do. So I originally said I was going to wait till June, because that would be 6 months that I'd be doing this new way of eating. But why wait is what I'm really thinking, is why wait till June when I know this is something I want to do? So I've slowly been lowering my testosterone. I've also been spreading out my dosages now. So now I've been doing it every third day while taking a little bit less. I'm going to do one more week of this. Then I'll do 1 week of only doing 2 shots and doing even less. After that is when I will start introducing HCG. And a few weeks down the road is when I'll be including my anti-estrogens, which are going to be needed while waiting for my natural testosterone to start producing as it should be. So there you go. If you are interested in watching somebody go through a PCT after coming off of TRT, then this is going to be the channel for you. If you're just one of those people that want to see if someone's going to fail at something that's difficult, go ahead and follow as well. I truly feel like I will be able to do this. I know for about a month it's going to be a little tough, but I think my body will rebound pretty quick. Worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario is my body doesn't produce enough and I have to get back on. Oh well, I already have my testosterone ready. I can always jump back on at any time. So to me, it's a win-win. Either my body's going to produce it naturally in a few months, or I jump back on TRT. That's it for the video. Again, I'll leave you with this, guys. If you've ever struggled with losing focus, not getting the results in the gym, you're feeling stiff, obviously if you have erectile problems, things like that, you might want to look into TRT. I think it is the best decision you'll ever make. Or hit me up. We could talk about my way of eating and see if that might help you avoid having to jump on TRT right away. That's it, guys. Again, hit the subscribe button and just follow along, because I will be coming off of TRT. Talk to you soon, guys. Metahuman Dave, out.